And now, your local forecast.
You are tuning in to the forecast. My name is M4 Sonic and I'm joined by my co-host, Chief Street.
How are we?
We're very well. We're actually doing something a bit different today. We've just been fumbling around for the last 10 minutes off camera and we figured out a way to live stream on YouTube using an iPad.
I love it.
Of all things. We're trying to get it on the phone. Eventually, we've got some pretty high-end cameras. So if you want to see the actual production, you have to wait till this episode airs. Eventually, we'll get the high-end cameras to actually go live using OBS. There's actually a way to do it. I've got all the gear on that.
You just need your laptop though?
Yeah. But we thought we'd wing it. Let's just try this.
I'm glad we figured it out. It probably, you said 10, probably 20 to figure it out.
Look, it was more like an hour.
You reckon?
Hey, look there, go 10 people have already jumped in. So if you are watching on YouTube and you want to ask us a question, jump in, we'll answer it.
Yep.
And if you don't feel like participating, just enjoy the ride.
We get it. You don't want to, you just like from the shadows. Nah.
All right, so what are the topics today?
I've got two. I've got a viewer question that I received on Instagram a few weeks ago when we were off, so I want to visit that.
Yep.
And then I also I wanted to cover Listen In, which is the Adelaide version of the music festival Listen Out, which is a big hip hop EDM tour, had Skrillex and a bunch of other people.
Did Skrillex come to Adelaide?
Yes, he did. I was pretty sad that I didn't get to go.
Now I have
unfortunately,
regrets.
getting old is a thing and money is a thing, and I just couldn't really warrant it this time around. I'm going away next week, so just couldn't do it. But there was a bit of controversy around that. I don't know if you know Marc Rebillet.
Yes. So he does all like the looping and
Very artistic, expressive individual. Cool dude, doing cool stuff. A lot of drama with his show in this city, particularly that went like onto Twitter and worldwide, and people were seeing a microscope into Adelaide and not enjoying it, which I think was warranted. But I just want to discuss the circumstances around it and see what you think.
Okay.
Because I have a certain belief of whose fault it is. And I just wonder if you mimic.
See, I don't know much about it. I did see something pop up.
So let's just start.
Let's go to and then I've got something to chat about afterwards.
Yeah, no worries.
Time.
So for Listen In,
Yep.
the Australian festival is called Listen Out. And that is a bigger lineup and it goes to the bigger cities. But we get Listen In, which is a one-day, I think they all are one day, but is a shorter time with limited artists. I guess they can't afford to do the big, 20-man, 2 stages in Adelaide. So they condense the lineup and they put on a one-night thing. So our lineup was Skrillex, Lil Uzi Vert, Ice Spice, Marc Rebillet. I'm not too certain about these other people, but Artie, Friction, and a couple of locals and stuff. So no offense to anyone I don't know on that lineup. I'm sure everyone's great. But what happened is that Marc Rebillet pretty much got booed off stage.
Why?
So what I think is the problem is the set times. He was playing, sorry, I've got him here. He was playing at 7:55 right before Ice Spice.
Okay.
Now, the demographic for Listen In Adelaide is probably 18 to 22 is probably your biggest market.
Yeah.
And then you've got everyone else. So do you think that a bunch of 18 to 22 to maybe 25-year-olds are in the mood to listen to someone build a live set at 8 o'clock at night right before Ice Spice?
Okay.
To sit there through that artistic journey. It's not like, when you play EDM polished mastered tracks, it's hitting you in the chest. You've been drinking, whatever else in that crowd is going around. He wasn't connecting with the audience very well.
Yeah, we've got a comment here saying the crowd was filled with Ice Spice fans. Right. So they were geared up ready for that.
A lot of young people ready for Ice Spice.
Yeah.
Not ready for Marc to just like sit there and start looping his voice.
Interesting.
So it started to flip.
Yeah.
And what he started doing instead is he took the microphone off and just started shoving it into the crowd. And just, it was a bad reflection on him, on us, but I think he handled the situation pretty poorly as well between both parties. it wasn't great. And so people were yelling on the mic and he was like, I'm just going to keep doing this for the rest of the show. You guys seem to be enjoying this. People are screaming from the crowd like, we want Ice Spice, we want Ice Spice, like literally getting this guy off. So it was a train wreck. And he ended up cutting his set short. And then he took to Twitter. There was videos. He gave his side of the story. And it was surprisingly mature from him because he was understanding. He was like, it's not a bunch of kids. Like, firstly, he acknowledged that the crowd was really young.
Yep.
And he's like, well, they're just making dumb decisions because they're young. And so that's fair enough. They were ready for something else that wasn't me.
Yep.
And I couldn't give them what they wanted.
Yeah.
Then I saw it. I see it from my view, I would blame, I think everyone's at the wrong a bit. I think the crowd, obviously, that's not how you behave. Marc, I think, egged him on by sticking a microphone back into the crowd.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
But overall, it's the promoter's fault.
And this happens a lot.
He shouldn't have, could have been on the bill. That's fine. Don't play him at 8 o'clock before Ice Spice. You should have seen what type of music he makes, how that's going to resonate, and you should put him on earlier. Mm-hmm. If you wanted him, he's a big draw. That's the thing. He is his socials and stuff. He's got mad numbers behind him.
Super talented.
They misread what the day's going to look like, the day and the night is going to look like at a music festival.
Yeah.
So I think that when I look at it, I think it's their fault primarily. But then I also look at the other elements and I think it was just bad behavior by everyone. But I'm interested to see your view on it.
Yeah, I know that when I used to play, because I was the launch padder, there was a few things that needed to happen in order for the show to go well and for the audience to understand why I wasn't playing, like. What
were those things that had to go well?
Well, okay, so for instance, back when I was starting out, Melbourne Bounce was at its peak in popularity and I was still playing more of the Skrillex, Knife Party, Pendulum-esque type, bro step, dubstep, whatever, right? Which was definitely translating a lot better in America. But when I was playing club shows in Australia, people were like, oh, we just want to, where's the
bounce?
Where's the bounce? So the things that had to go well for me in order for the crowd to understand was there needed to be a visual element so they could see my hands. They needed to see a launch pad. So if there wasn't that, I actually had a backup show, right?
Okay, that was just USBs?
Just USBs. And this is where I had to start learning to DJ because there were multiple times where especially with the first team, the first management crew, the first label, everybody knew that I was very much that, like, this is how you play and if you don't do this, you can't. So there was an instance in Miami where I was playing at a pool party and it was for Ultra Records and, it was Dioro, myself, Will Sparks, there was all these big players and the tech writer that we sent, which was I'm going to have 4 launch pads, whatever, they didn't get it and they didn't have enough space on this mini stage next to the pool for any of my gear. And they're like, I'll just play a DJ set. And at that point in time in my career, I did not have a DJ set. So I opted out. I couldn't play. Oh. The other thing is that if I had played, it would have been hard electro, dubstep, growly music. And we had people from the hotel that weren't anything to do with the Winter Music Conference or the Ultra Pool Party that were just hanging out by the pool. The last thing they wanted to do is have this young Aussie clear out the entire space. Yeah. You have to be versatile as a DJ. Fortunately, by the time Dioro and Will came on to play, it was later in the evening. They could play whatever they wanted. People were there. Another instance where I felt a little bit out of touch was I was playing an underground trap after party for a music festival. I played a music festival, played my style, and then I was playing at this venue that was only known for trap music, and I did not have any trap music. So
what venue was that?
I can't remember now. No, but
where was it? Sorry?
It was in Chicago, and I remember I was absolutely shitting bricks before the set because I was freaking out because, I'm on Ableton. I'm using a launch pad. I have my set list. I don't have a huge room to move. And so just before the gig, I was starting to put in a couple of trap songs and whatever. Just owned it. And the crowd were receptive and they loved it. But boy, that was touch and go because I could have absolutely cleared the venue and that would have looked so poorly on me and it would have looked really badly on the promoter. And the third example was when I was told by a promoter and the tour agency I was with at the time when I was doing Southeast Asia, play hardstyle.
Just like full stop, play hardstyle, man.
I played a set in Taiwan and my agent at the time was there and she said, that's not hard enough. You need to go harder.
It's like middle of your set.
Yeah.
Or just like she's heard what you've done or
She's
something?
heard what I've done and she heard the set and whatever. And so then I had some bookings in China and then went to Japan. By the time I got to Japan, they were like, okay, we just need to give you a heads up. We had a hard style DJ last weekend. Crowd didn't love it. I was like,
So now it's switched back.
oh my God, no, I have not prepared. I'm calling.
You've gone the opposite
I'm calling
way.
Cooper on the phone. I'm like, mate, I only brought, like, again, hideously underprepared because I was so focused on this set with these visuals, this energy, everything. I haven't prepared this set. And he's like, mate, well, you got to. I'm like, I don't have time. The show's in an hour. I do not have time to build a Melbourne bounce mixed with Katy Perry set. So I played my set and I skipped all the ridiculously heavy songs and tried to keep it as middle as possible. It didn't, it was okay, but it wasn't a hit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel for this guy. When you're a live act and you are set in what you're doing, I agree. Promoter, that's on you. You have to book these artists for the set times that's going to work with the crowd and the venue. If though you are an international DJ, producer, artist, whatever,
It's not any of those things though.
Neither was I, but I needed to learn, and you learn hard and fast.
Yeah.
You have to be versatile.
Yeah,
so
good
I
point.
now have 4 hours of sets. Only 45 minutes is really me.
Yeah.
The rest is like versatility. And I just thought of one other example where I played a corporate event where they wanted like an Anna Leno lounge set. I'm like, that's not me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You get labeled as a DJ and they think you can just fill any pocket that they need, you know?
So you know, are you a DJ
Well,
or are you an artist?
for Mark, he's not a DJ.
Is he not?
He's an artist.
There you
I
go.
don't
So-
think there is one point
Not his
in
fault.
his life
They're
where
not his fault.
he has, I don't even know if he'd use Record Box. You know what I mean? Like look, I don't know his writer, but he is a loop station guy. With,
Right.
You know, he probably does, he's got his setup. He knows what he's doing. These are the effects that he uses every night. He knows how to build his songs on the go. But it's not like, oh, this is failing. I'm going to play top 20 music and keep everyone happy. Or suddenly I play hip hop because that's what the crowd wants. It's like you booked Marc, you get Marc.
That's right.
And if the crowd doesn't like it, it's probably a reflection of like the way the show's been planned. Still, terrible behavior.
Yeah, you do have a responsibility to everyone as a public performer, as an artist, to still keep some dignity and to not take it personally. Sometimes things just don't work out, and how you conduct yourself in those instances really is a measure of how far you're going to go in your career.
So from the crowd's perspective though, listen in, if you didn't know who Marc was and you've just had some like roaring fucking like drum and bass, you got two of the biggest hip hop artists next, and then you've got Skrillex. It's like you are at 8 o'clock, it's getting dark, you are ready to go. And then suddenly it's like Mouth, Boots and Cats, and like we're just.
And there's nowhere else to go, right?
That's the thing. So I reckon his sets everywhere else where it was 2 stages, Marc plays someone late, people who want to see him go there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was a trap and it's unfortunate and you just learn from it.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. Some of his sets, I think it was in Brisbane, he built a song and it was like, fuck Adelaide. But so we got burned. And like, I get it. But just overall, a pretty bad combination of things. I'm not surprised that the kids of Adelaide behaved.
Yeah, we're an interesting bunch down in Adelaide. All right, moving on. You had a comment from someone.
So a few weeks ago, we got a comment from someone on the live stream.
We do have a few comments on the live stream.
Let's go here. This is a good one. What advice would you give for reading the room beforehand and figure out what the crowd likes without being told?
Oh, man.
Without being told is tough because usually you want the people at the venue being like, this is what we kind of do here.
I have spent many a time in a green room freaking out, being like,
with like one ear out in the venue, being like, what's this guy?
Two things will happen. One, you hear all the tracks you're going to play being played and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Which is fine now because at the start of my career, I was very much relying on other people's tracks. Where as you develop as an artist and DJ, you play your own bootlegs, your own remixes and your own originals. So you get to the point where people aren't playing your shit.
Yeah.
Actually, funny story. Do you remember Phoenix Paul? They had In My Mind with Ivan Goff and I think it was Axwell.
Maybe.
Massive.
I'll probably heard it if I
In
know.
My Mind. I'm not singing the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, massive.
This is what we...
Biggest track they ever had.
Yeah. Don't tell me someone played that.
Yeah, poor bastards. I went to one of their shows and I can't remember where it is now. I think it was in the States, and their warm-up act started playing it within 5 to 10 minutes towards the end of their set. And they're like, pull them off. Get them the fuck off. That's our song. That's our headline track. That is why
like
we're the
peak
headline.
of the
Things not to do as a warm-up act. Don't play the headline song. Anyway, getting back to reading the room. in the green room, I'm listening out and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can't play that track. Damn, I really, that track got released last week. That was a banger. I want to play that. Again, it comes down to experience, but as a DJ, when you read the room, depending on where you are in the lineup, if you're the headliner, do whatever the fuck you want. You are the headline. Okay? If you are the support DJ, you have an obligation to the headline not to play too heavy. You need to actually chill the crowd out. And if you are a highly rotation local DJ that's basically the resident in every week, your obligation is to sell drinks. Sorry, no, it's not about you. It's about the venue.
Yeah.
Your obligation is to warm people up and then actually encourage them, because the song sucks, to go to the bar and get a drink.
Yeah.
Go to the toilets before the headline comes on. And they are very well trained in that, and they understand that because they are part of the club.
Yeah.
But as the headline, which is
They're playing the game. I've been very fortunate that a lot of my gigs has been in the headline rotation in venues in Adelaide that I know what to play.
Yeah.
So I don't
Reading
have a
the
lot of
room
experience.
is-
But I was fortunate enough. I haven't played a ton of gigs, but I know that I get to go do whatever I want, which is a luxury. So most of my sets would be pretty like, not completely rehearsed or anything, but I'd be like, look, these are my folders.
You know what
I know
you're
what
doing.
I'm going to play.
Yeah. And headlines reserve that. So that's where it's actually quite scary for us, because sometimes we'll read a room, it's like, this may not work.
Mm-hmm.
Just own it. Have 20% more energy and fun than the crowd, and they'll fucking follow you. All right.
Question number 2. Hey, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you deal with creative highs and lows. I'm in a creative low. At the moment, I can't seem to create anything I'm happy with, and it's frustrating. Yet I'm still trying to keep up with deadlines and really trying to restart getting daily uploads onto social media. How do you deal with that as professionals?
Do you want to go first?
Highs and lows. Well, firstly, I'm going to say daily uploads to social media is you're going to burn yourself out by doing that, unless you're a natural and unless you have all the time in the world.
Don't take advice from me, because I never do that.
Yeah, take all this advice barely, not artist advice. Firstly, I would probably be trying to achieve 2 to 3 posts on social media.
Dude, I do that a year.
Yeah, well, I think that a week, sorry.
Actually,
2 to 3 a week.
Can I give credit where credit's due? Chief Street is posting for us on this podcast. So Chief is the one that's uploading to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and it's actually been so beneficial for someone like me who has almost like social media anxiety. I just made that up. But what's been great is it's repurposeful, because it's not me pushing me.
Yeah.
It's our podcast pushing our podcast.
Since we made the channels, I feel a lot better about sharing our stuff, because like you said, I don't have to post it from me all the time.
So that's been that's saving grace. But yeah, talking about creative flow.
Yeah, so that's the first point I would say, is just that I think daily social media posting. I know TikTok wants that, but like just look at who you are and where you're at, and maybe look, if you can figure out, I think I know the type of media this guy's making, and it is possible to do daily clips. But unless you've got a big bank and you're really preparing, I think if you set that expectation and you fail, you're going to mentally think you're failing, when really, if you just said 2-3 times a week, I think you could achieve that. I think you'd be happy. Creativity comes and it goes. I think it's something that everyone understands. There's writer's blocks. There's things like that. So how do I deal with it? Usually I actually acknowledging it, stepping away, and just coming back to it when it's right, and changing my mentality from trying to be super serious and like, I'm going to make the best track I've ever made and this is going to be, to just, I'm going to sit down for 2 hours here and whatever comes out, comes out. And if it's good, great. And if it's bad, that's fine, because I'm not here to actually make something good. I'm just here to create.
Yep.
And then you'll find if you can try and get into that headspace and you keep going back to it, eventually something will click. Eventually you'll find a sound that you really like. Eventually an arrangement will come through and you're like, or a sample, and then suddenly you're back in it and you're like, well, at first I made this to have fun, but now I can see where I might be able to use this in the future. And I think now you're back into it. It's a mental game, but it's also something that happens to everyone. So I wouldn't be thinking like, oh, how am I going through this? It's like, it does happen to a lot of people.
I've got a little hack for anybody that experiences it. As someone who has experienced it annually for 10 years, what I've done is I've created a private SoundCloud playlist just for me. It's called Rework.
So are you revisiting old stuff?
Yep. boy, is that inspiring and motivating when you listen to something that you made a really long time ago and you're like, oh, all that needs is this and this and this. And then you find yourself working on it. And it's like baby steps where the majority of the work's been done, you're just polishing. I have a vested interest in getting these tracks done because I announced at the start of this podcast that I was going to release 3 albums.
21 episodes ago.
36
22.
songs. And I'm still chipping away. So, you know, I've got to... All right. I'll also use an example of going to the gym. I signed up to the gym and then got massive guilt for not going. And it's not to do with not wanting to or being able to. It's to do with prioritization. And again, it's like I'm a perfectionist, so I'm all or nothing. With music, sometimes the smallest thing, like Chief was talking about in another episode, Ableton 11, and how he went in and did all his folders and organized his samples and just sort of got bedded into the software and whatever, which is going to set him up for all his future sessions here at the studio where he can just jump in and he's almost enjoying the software more than he is enjoying the process of making music. There are little things you can do that just sort of float around the edges of being creative that kind of get you like prepped and ready for when game's on. And I don't know if you're like me, but every time I get creative, it is at the most inconvenient of times. I will be on a plane where I'm like, should I wake this person next to me and get my laptop from overhead? Or I'll be in the shower, or it'll be 2:00 in the morning and I have the best idea. I had a dream I was at a nightclub listening to bangers. I'm like, my head is making weapons right now. How do I get this out?
Yeah.
Next day, gone.
Oh, yeah. That's so true as well, man. Sometimes well, even today, I thought I was going to be home. And so I thought I had all day. I was at the computer before you text me and I was just nowhere. I was going nowhere. Although I was so excited to open up 11 and I've got it all set up.
Yeah.
It wasn't with me. But then, it comes and it goes. It's
absolutely. But that's it. Human. It comes and goes. Please don't ever force this shit. It's the same as social media. You have to really dial in what is the reason for making music. And usually it's some form of expression of feeling or experience or talking about past or the future, whatever. Like, I won't get too hippie and weird and shit, right? But it's energy. At the end of the day, it's energy. If you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. Don't fucking worry about it. And deadlines. I'm really interested by the deadlines. Are the deadlines
self-inflicted or are they actual that's what I mean by the one post a day thing. It's like, that's an easy one to fall behind.
Yeah. I like some deadlines. When I had remix deadlines, that was cool because I could at least prioritize okay, I have to have this done.
Mm-hmm.
But self-imposed deadlines are actually more scary than someone else's.
So with the remix deadlines, what about that process kind of made you enjoy it?
Half the work was done.
Yeah, that's a good point. The vocal's already set.
Vocal's already there. The mix is already pretty wicked. What am I going to do to this? Am I going to completely restructure the song or am I just going to do, little stardust? But the majority of the work in terms of the musicality, the direction, everything was there. The task at hand was to make it my own, and it was a joyful experience because it was all experimentation. There was no right or wrong, and it wasn't starting from scratch.
Yeah. That's the hardest part most of the time is
you had 1 week.
you find the most raw sounds and then you're like, okay, I have to make this sound good in the end. But like you said, if you download some stems, like when I did the remix competition not long ago, like you said, I just put the tempo up.
There you go.
And then suddenly we're cooking.
And it makes sense. And it's so we've talked about this in other episodes. It's called flow state.
Yeah.
Getting into flow state is one of the most wonderful sensations you can have as an artist because you're not really acknowledging at the time that you've got to it. You're just euphoric. It's just happening. You're just enjoying the moment. You find yourself turning up your headphones or turning up the monitors and you feel it. Sometimes you get a rush of dopamine and serotonin and you feel the hairs on the back of your back tingle and you're just like, wow. And those parts of making music are the best and the only reason, in my opinion, for making music. It's not the outcome. It's the actual experience of making it. When you get those moments, they are so bloody special. Then after mix final 23 and 4 weeks of scrutinizing the track, you've lost the love for it and you don't even want to touch it ever again. But you know the point.
I mean, I reckon you get probably maybe 5 fun sessions on a track and then it just
5?
goes.
That's generous.
Yeah, well, it depends I know you work really fast, so you probably get most of your work out really quickly, whereas it might take me a few sessions before I'm in it, but then the final tweaks and stuff take me forever.
Yeah. That's when you pass it on to me.
Yeah, but no, it's even sound, I'm still figuring out sound.
I'm talking about, that hi-hat, 1 decibel.
Yeah, I find like, my mixes are all right these days. So
Your
like,
mixes are fire. Actually, can I just say, I've mastered a couple of Chiefs tracks in the past, and we said, I think in one of the episodes, I'm still going by it, if you have a track you want me to master for free, do you remember the code word?
From the last episode.
No, it was before VOEs. MSTR, capitals, MSTR. Comment MSTR, either send me a DM through the podcast, so the Forecast podcast on Instagram, or hit us up in the comments on YouTube and I will master your song for free. I Master Chiefs, sorry, the ramble will, I Master Chiefs stuff because his mixes are so good. Like, so good. I really do absolutely bugger all to your songs.
Thanks, man.
Just slap on a limiter, that's it.
Beautiful.
No, I do a little bit more than that. But do you know what I mean? Like your balancing is incredible. I think you just have an ear for it.
Yeah.
You're not trying, right? It's just
that was the biggest change of like, I feel like you have some milestones as you make music. And when I realized what mixing is and how important sound selection is, I was like, okay, well now I can make good enough music that like it's commercial enough to be put on anything and it'll sound good. So yeah,
goals.
It's a big skill mixing. I think it gets overlooked sometimes. Well, not really. I think people understand how important it is. Maybe it's harder than I realized, but for me, it's like.
I think people overthink it. I think there's technicians out there that sort of get caught up in the nuances of what makes mixing.
We've been through that before.
Some people just completely overanalyze stuff. At the end of the day, when you're cooking in the kitchen, if you didn't get the milligrams perfect, it still tastes good.
Some of the best is the home cooking,
some people
the
are like,
freestyled
you
stuff.
overcooked it. Some people think you undercooked it. Who gives a fuck? The end of the day is subjective. Just going to catch up on some comments here on YouTube. This is awesome to have all these people jumping in. We do an M4 remastered album or just improved tracks? Okay, so yes.
If it ever comes out. Sorry.
I know. Nah, give me shit because I need it. I need to get spurred on. Okay, so here's a fun fact. The original weapon was never released until we found it on Spotify. Someone uploaded the original weapon.
Did you sort that out?
No. And at the time, when I signed my deal with Ultra Records, I said to them, look, I haven't cleared the vocal sample. This is a pretty big deal for an emerging artist. I don't think it's a good look to just release this song without clearing the vocal sample. And fuck knows why nobody in my team could do it because it's not that bloody hard. I'm just having a bit of a rant here. Like, fuck's sake, just get the sample cleared. We put out Weapon 2.0, which was across the board, everybody's opinion, not as good. I completely agree. So what I'm thinking of doing is going, fuck it. I still haven't got the vocal cleared, but come at me. Like, I'll give you a cut. I don't give a shit. Sue me. I'm thinking of putting out Weapon Original on the album, remastered.
See what happens.
Oh, look, it's when you get into the legalities of it, I am totally happy to, in the publishing credits and backing whatever, split to that artist what they're due. I have no issues with that. In order to get clearance, though, it's really hard because there's so many different people you have to contact, and it's a massive boot loop, and you never get anywhere. Anyway, the point of what I'm saying is I am totally willing to give credit, and I think it would be kind of nostalgic to release that song, given that the legalities of what you're allowed to put out. I think it's less than 3%, that vocal, right? So it's like Kanye West. Listen to all Kanye stuff. He has got so many samples that haven't been cleared because you can get away with it if it's been recorded or repurposed or retuned or pitched up, pitched down, whatever. I've done enough manipulation to it that it will actually pass. I just wish I'd known that 10 years ago because it would have been so good to have the original weapon. So getting back to the original question, will you do a M4 Sonic remastered? Yes, I will. But the technical ability I have now versus what I had back then, it's night and day.
Yeah, far superior.
Yeah. How good. We've got people commenting on YouTube. This is good fun. And yeah, Nick's version M4 Sonic weapon. Absolutely.
Taylor's.
Right. Where were we at?
You've got a topic for me.
I was going to talk about the live show.
Yeah, your live show?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we touched on it a bit before with Marc. I think, a lot of respect for someone who has such a task. The only shows I've had to play is a backpack and a headphone and 2 USBs, a backup if I need it. The easiest job in the world. But for someone who travels with a MacBook, a launch pad, all these connectors, or if you're Marc's case, you got loop stations. And that's such a bigger burden. So much more room for error, man.
I'll say it publicly. I'm a bit frustrated because I'm seeing, Fred again blowing up and he is so musically talented. And I'm like, damn, where did I miss the boat? Do you know what I mean? Like, I can do that. I want to do that. I'm willing, I'm ready, I'm able, I've got the experience, whatever. What am I not doing to be able to showcase at that level? So this is not like an attack on Fred again. This is just an acknowledgement that what he's doing, I would like to do. Yeah. I have done it.
Yeah.
Why am I not doing it? And I think, is it the responsibility of myself? Have I really let myself down and the audience down by not, connecting the dots of this is how you go about getting into live music. This is how you sustain a career with live performance. Like, I'm a little bit lost. Like, I know all the things that need to happen in order to get back to playing live shows, but I think I almost need to showcase again. I need to remind the world, which is getting harder and harder now because everybody's got a voice. Everybody's, uploading to social media. What I'm thinking I need to do is I need to clear this studio out, get rid of the couch, whatever. We've got the decks to the side of here. I need to do live streaming to showcase the Launchpad again and a set. The hard thing I'm finding is that I'm getting all these takedown notices every time I do live shows.
The samples.
Yeah. So I know Twitch. I think you can do it on Twitch now. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat.
Sure.
I think things like there are other apps like Big O Live, which I used to do a bit of stuff on, which is essentially like a competitor to TikTok, but very much Asian market. Even Instagram, like Meta, they have
I know
very,
that
very,
would be
very,
no
very
chance.
Good. Yeah, no, Facebook just. I had all these live streams just getting taken out.
TikTok.
So I'm a bit.
So I see a lot of DJ sets on TikTok.
Well, yeah, maybe I should just do TikTok.
I think TikTok just lets it go most of the time, but I don't know. You can try. The clips I've uploaded on the Launchpad when we were doing it in the other room were doing well. So I think I want to reintroduce it and get some new clips and see how they go.
I've got something to show the world. I'm not done yet. It says here, Twitch, you can play copyrighted music, but you can't achieve them.
Archive them.
Archive them. I need my glasses. Archive them afterwards. Yeah, so we had another question too, I think, about archiving this. I'm not sure. I think we're recording like a higher quality version of this podcast, talk show, whatever. So you'll see that. That'll be the equivalent of the archive.
Yeah, this live is going to disappear once we're off.
I had an idea too. This is a bit of a segue from the live show, what I was talking about, where you and I would promote tracks we're working on this show. The problem is that once they are commercially released, they have what's called an ISRC.
Yeah, and it won't be attached.
For those listening in, International Standard Recording Code. It's a inaudible code created by Dither. It's pretty cool little code.
You love geeking out to this stuff.
Oh, I do it as a mastering engineer. I put it as a way to. Anyway, that is what, and plus the actual audio itself. That's what the AI uses to find copyright. So it's getting harder now to put tracks out because say we showed an unreleased song today and then it gets signed a year later and it goes out on one of the major labels, this show would get taken down.
If my track got signed to a major label, I will sacrifice that episode like that.
Or you see ads appearing on the show and the monetization goes to them, which is, I don't really care.
Whatever. I mean, I think at our point, right, we don't really have much to lose.
I was really lucky. I'm not with this distributor anymore, but I was with a distributor that whitelisted my channel, which enabled me to use the entire catalogue
of what they had access
to, which is a huge, huge amount of music without getting copyright infringement. But then when I left that deal, no longer whitelisted and getting the copyright strikes. But getting back to the live show, I would really, really like to get back into live performance, especially on the Launchpad. There's just this fine line, and we've touched on it in the start of this episode, where you have an obligation as a DJ to perform to the crowd. And I keep getting put in those scenarios.
Yeah, you're not.
Verse.
Yeah.
Fred again.
Yeah, being M4.
Do you?
Yeah.
I do not have the privilege of being me at the moment, other than me not understanding how to push that agenda and to get myself playing on stage.
This is going to sound like Luke.
Yeah, good.
Go viral. You need the online presence.
I wish I had it. I think I may have taken a screenshot. Let me have a look.
That meme.
Deadmau5 just put out I've got a screenshot. Deadmau5 did something really interesting. He said music by Lucas did a thread, and he said, the key to getting signed by a label, be unique, but also trendy, forget genres, but also only produce the genre the label likes. Your music is the only thing that ... And Deadmau5 just comes in and he goes, I respectfully disagree. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced it's just hard work and dumb luck. And you know what, man? Kind of agree.
Hard work and dumb luck. Well, I think for the luck, you need to be putting yourself in positions
So
to
luck,
get the luck.
if you break that down, is opportunity and preparation.
Yeah, so you have to be prepared. Like if you're not doing anything, you're not going to get lucky. Yeah, I see both sides. It's kind of like a package of those things.
I actually agree with Deadmau5 on this, and I fundamentally disagree.
Hard work and dumb luck.
Hard work and dumb luck, as opposed to going, I want to sign to this label, therefore I'll only make the genre that they want, and pandering to the needs of the label. I think that's
every other
doing it for one
day.
reason.
I see a thread on Reddit being like, should I make an like an alias because I'm going to start singing on my songs, or I'm going to make house instead of dubstep? No, man, just put it out.
Well, that's what I've done. It's had varying levels of success, but that's majorly based on the fact that I can't really reach anyone at the moment.
Yeah, I think for you to get back to where you want in the live space, your social following and your engagement needs to come back up.
And that's primarily based on Launchpad, which I'm happy to pursue because it is what makes me different.
Yeah, you got to use that to your strength, man. There is such a limited amount of people in this world that can do what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, and why would you? It's hard. I am actually working on a secret alias at the moment with a vocalist. We're going to become a duo. We haven't decided on a name yet.
Here we go.
And the music is very, like it could, one of the songs were like, should we send this to Taylor Swift?
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
It honestly sounds like Taylor Swift. But then the other music is so cinematic. It's like, oh, this could be on 50 Shades of Grey. You know, like it's not me.
Yeah.
But it's just musically me, but it's not M4 me.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
that makes it, that music's trying to serve another purpose. That's not, I'm still launch padding or I'm still trying to play ultra. That's sync songwriting.
Yeah.
That is a completely different thing. I don't really agree with aliases, but in that circumstance, like that's a different avenue of music.
Yep.
That's not
correct. It's different. Completely
that's
different.
not just I'm making a different version of like genre and I'm still using Ableton and all my presets. Like,
yeah, no. This is just totally different.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like building an audience is hard enough. Why do you want to do it twice?
I don't. Which is why I've had the idea that our name, our new duo name, is we're actually copying Sia, Labyrinth and Diplo.
Yeah, LSD. I love that. Love their album.
So ours is going to be very similar. It'll be M4, this artist, and then the third party, which is the duo. And every time we release, it will be as M4 this person and that. With the sort of artistic license then to put all the emphasis on the duo being the flagship. But I haven't floated this past Luke yet. It's still very early days.
Terms and conditions apply.
Terms and conditions apply. All right, moving on.
Well, have you, you know what was funny? I actually had that LSD album as a topic to talk about one day. It's so good.
Awesome.
I
haven't listened to it.
Dude, well, it's a bit.
Shout out to Sia.
I don't want to say this. It's not really dated, but is it old? Yeah. But is it still good? Yes. Has sound changed a bit? But it's also so unique that it stands out no matter where. And it hasn't aged poorly. So, but yeah, I go listen to it, man. It's fucking awesome. And there's a couple cool remixes came out of it. Sia's just incredible. And so is Labyrinth. I mean, Diplo is just a phenomenal talent.
I need to reach out to Sia.
Together.
I need to ask her.
Yeah, get linked again.
Do you want to come check out the studio? All right.
I've got one final thing.
Mm-hmm. Shall I be worried?
Let's have a snack.
Have a snack. Okay, so this is a new segment to our followers that we're trying as where Chief brings bizarre food or drink.
We got some Pringles, kind of.
What camera do you hold that up to? Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, it looks pretty normal. Is that an avocado?
Yeah, avocado flavored.
Hang on, avocado doesn't have a flavor?
Like nature's butter, right?
You need to put a lot of salt and pepper on avocado. Okay, sorry, I'll stop.
Ooh.
Do you want to hear a fun fact?
This is smart and interesting and bad for the planet all at once. Little plastic tray for your chippies.
Did you know that I did a television advert for Pringles?
Really? Did it never come out?
It came out.
It
was only in America.
I want to see that.
They took it off YouTube because they only had a 6-month campaign with that particular packaging.
You got to take like 3.
Okay. All right, so I'll finish my story.
That's a big chunk.
We had to do things like the whole campaign was I was making an entire Launchpad video from The Sound of Pringles. So we were recording, popping the can,
percussion,
playing the can, crunching the chips.
Here we go. We're about to do one now.
Where the fuck's the avocado in that? Tastes like wasabi. I can't taste the avocado. I like it though.
Just tastes like oil. Why is every snack I've gotten, it's like false advertising almost. It barely has the flavor it should.
Does that taste like avocado to you?
Nah, but it tastes nice.
I don't hate it. Do you reckon it's got like a really weak wasabi taste?
I hate wasabi, so I feel like if it had it, I'd be more against it.
I rate it.
Pretty good.
I like it.
I like it.
Get more of those.
Don't really understand where.
Man, last session's garlic coffee did not taste like garlic or coffee.
Yep.
Avocado, man, that's a hard flavor to put in a chip because avocado really doesn't, I don't think has a taste.
Yeah, it's got,
Other than
mustard,
the salad
avocado
dressing,
seasoning.
mayonnaise and pepper and salt that I put on mine.
Well, we tried. I'll have to go back to the store and get some new stuff and see what can come out in the next time because I'm out of snacks now. So,
okay.
Well, it's your turn as well. You can bring some.
It's my turn. All right. So, just a heads up, this episode is going to go live a bit later because you're leaving us.
Yeah, barely.
Barely.
That sounded a lot more dramatic than it is.
Hey, clickbait, bro.
Chief's quitting the podcast. Nah. Yeah. I'm going overseas, going to see Donna's family, going to meet them.
Hey.
So, yeah, pretty bloody excited. I'll be away for 2 weeks. So
enjoy your travels away.
Yeah, I'm going to try and capture some footage and do some things. So maybe follow me on Instagram. I'm going to try and do some sort of travel content, but don't hold me against that. And also, this is going to be so delayed that it's going to have happened if I was doing it. So you've already missed out. Nah.
Yeah. By the time you listen to this, you're probably flying back.
Yeah, well, I'll be close. I think it'll be the day before.
So to our live chat, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been really fun. And you will see this version all edited and looking pristine soon.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Next week, no, ignore what I said because next week is 4 weeks away.
All right. Well, it's been fun. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And, yeah, I think we'll try and integrate more of a live element in future episodes, which will then mean that we need to be consistent with our timing so that people in the world can tune in regularly. But it is a TV show, so that was always the progression as to where we're going. We do plan to do more giveaways and announce the winners. Because we had to pre-record this episode, we haven't actually done the competition yet. We announced the winners next episode of those Ableton USBs and all the goodies and surprises that we've put on that. So we will see you then. Cheers.
Bye.